Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SportsPoint. My name is Frankie Breit, and it's been a week, so let's break that down. As always, I'm joined by Brody, Kupsky, and Liam Statz. Thank you, gentlemen, for both being here. How we doing?
Well, it's going to be rainy like all week this week, so it's already off to a great start.
Perfectly encapsulate my soul at this moment over this sports news that we're going to talk about.
I think that's the vibe this week. It's a very rainy week in Stevens Point. I feel like all of the middle of Wisconsin's kind of getting hit by some rain. Saw some really cool clouds today. Saw some lightning.
What did the clouds look like, Frankie?
Looked like waves in the sky.
Oh, man.
I don't know what that means. I was going to look it up, but I never did. If anybody knows what that means, please let us know. But it's been a somber weekend for many reasons. We're going to talk about why. We're also going to try to make things not so somber, look at some positives that we took away from this weekend of sports. But, guys, it might be tough.
Might actually cry on the show. It might happen.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to joke around with that.
And you remember what makes me cry?
What makes you cry, buddy?
Packers highlights.
From
2014.
From when we're losing,
Yeah.
Plenty of them this year. Anyway, let's jump right into some of our updates and major storylines around the sporting world. Start with the NFL. Gentlemen, the Lions have lost for the second time this season. The Ravens destroyed the Lions 38-6. Uncharacteristic loss from the Lions. They looked really good this year, have had a lot of success in this early third of the season. I didn't start the Ravens defense on my fantasy team because I said the Lions are going to light it up like they always do, and they sure didn't. Ravens put up 13 points on defense. Hopefully I don't lose that game tonight. We'll see. Guys, thank you. What do you think?
Fraud
Lions
alert.
kind of dropped the ball there.
Fraud alert.
Fraud alert. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, so fraud alert. I mean, come on. I mean, Lions, what's going on here? You've been super red hot the entire season. You had one really close loss. You've been, steamrolling your way through the league and the division. You go up against arguably a mediocre Ravens
Yeah, they're a
team,
good team.
And they're okay, but they're not terrible either, But everybody's like, oh, okay, it'll be close again. It'll be close. Lions probably win. And then you kick 2 field goals.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was
Yeah.
tough. I didn't catch every second of that game, but from what I did, the Lions were never doing anything on offense. And if they got close to the red zone or to the goal line, things fell apart very quickly. Brody, did you catch that game?
No, I was in Winona this past weekend playing baseball, but
Playing baseball, how'd you do?
not great. But
Okay, we'll leave that out of the show. Keep moving.
0-3.
Oh, no.
But I'd get notifications on my phone for fantasy because I have Mark Andrews on my fantasy team, and he caught 2 touchdowns.
He
that
sure
game.
did.
So I was very happy for that. In terms of the Lions, though, we can talk about, well, they might be frauds, like Liam said, but it's a game by game basis. They could be good one week, and then the next week they could look terrible. So
That's a great
I'm
point.
not going to say that they're frauds yet. Now, if they blow the rest of the season, yes, I would say they're frauds, and they started really good and just looked terrible the rest of the season. But as of right now, I mean, it's kind of too early to say that they're frauds.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. This is a week-to-week league, the NFL. I think especially this year, teams have looked really good one week, really bad the next, and that's kind of continuing in how the vibe of the season has been going. I don't know why that is. I don't know if teams are just kind of balancing out talent-wise this year or if just schemes are very similar this year. Could be anything, but it's good to note that the Lions... Raw talent, there we go. The Lions were without David Montgomery, their star running back, who they desperately missed in the red zone. This past week, Jahmyr Gibbs got to start, the rookie first-rounder. Didn't do anything that was notable. I think he's still got great young talent and has tons of potential. He'll be good for them in the future. But Lions are still, right now, clearly the NFC North favorites. That's undeniable.
Yeah.
With every other team in the NFC North.
They should run away with it almost.
They definitely should.
It's kind of a bad division this year.
Every other team has 2 wins, including our very home favorite, Green Bay Packers, which we will get into. But, yeah, so Very
Back to the dark
uncharacteristic loss from the Lions. We'll see how they do going forward. Ravens obviously playing very well. Lamar Jackson was at an MVP level this past week. I think he's got to continue to play that way for that team to stay successful. And there was another great game last night, Miami versus the Eagles. Eagles won, but there was a lower third on the screen of that broadcast that kind of just has been a lot of chatter about this, but confirmed from my knowledge that there will be flag football at the Olympics in 2028.
That there will be.
Thoughts on that, you guys?
Well, that means now the NFL is going to have to look in either protecting their players or letting them go to the Olympics.
Actually, what they said, they're almost encouraging players to go to the Olympics and play flag football.
Complete flip from the NHL, which
Yeah.
has barred anybody. If you are signed a contract and you are playing for an NHL team, you are barred from going to the Olympics.
That's
There's
crazy.
no possible way you can sign with your team.
And I know that flag football is not near the same amount of risk as a professional football game. You take away pads and the tackling aspect, but there's still a lot of potential for an injury or something to go wrong in the
but
sport.
Is it really on the same physical level as other Olympic sports, in your guys' opinion?
Wouldn't think it would be. You know, it's flag football. It's like schoolyard football
Yeah.
pretty much without, the tackling of
It
schoolyard football.
feels like a
at times.
playground sport, playground game that is now in the Olympics,
You know
which
that
is
there's-
weird.
There's 3-on-3 basketball too in the Olympics.
In the Olympics,
Yes, in
wow.
the Olympics.
Okay. Well, I mean, I saw this post, and I'm not going to get too detailed into it, but it was just Justin Jefferson going against a teacher from like a third world country.
Croatia or
Like,
something, yeah.
how is that like fair?
It really is not fair. I
I think
mean,
it was created just to give the U.S. more medals.
Probably.
easily.
Probably.
You think about how many players from the United States are going to be playing. I mean, there might be some players in the NFL right now that might play for their home country if they're from a different country.
I was going to ask you about that too. Do you think they'll be allowed to go and play for their home country?
think
That's
so.
how it usually works throughout leagues. Like, you see with the MLB,
The World Baseball Classic.
Baseball Classic. And even though there are some American-born players, because their heritage hails from a different country, they will get dual citizenship. So
Yeah.
countries will encourage them to come back and play for their country. That's happens a lot.
That would be
as well.
really cool to see. And
Yeah, but it would also mean that not a whole lot of people, I think, would play for the U.S. because
it is what it is. It'd make it more competitive, and I think that's what I'm kind of looking for. Now, you're not really going to know how many countries are actually going to be able to qualify for that sport.
You just put up a team for it.
Right, and to that point, when you have flag football going on, that's kind of a specific set of player positions that are going to be able to play at that level. Like, you're not going to see Jason Kelsey, the center for the Eagles, go play on the flag football team, He's not needed. You're going to see a quarterback and receivers and running backs.
I was going to say, I don't know if it would work with like offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Maybe some linebackers and cornerbacks for sure are going to probably play. But
For sure.
Maybe you have a center or two just, maybe snap the ball and.
Big man with a football.
I mean, why not? Maybe the U.S. puts up like 100 points and they're just like, we'll just throw our
Because you're not allowed to block really
You guys
anybody.
remember in like little like tyke football when
Yeah.
they just give the biggest kid on the field the ball and
Just
have
see
him
what he can
run.
do with
Just
it.
have him run,
Yep.
basically.
That could be a strategy. But I mean, it's flag football. Just grab the flag.
Yeah.
Swat away. Swat
But
those
if,
hands
but if
away.
he goes,
Yeah, you get like
Stifler.
Tyreek Hill out there. He's just
Nobody's catching that,
blazing
man.
down
And
the
you know
line.
he's one of those guys who's going to be the first one on the team.
Yeah.
easily.
He's going to want to be on it ASAP. Before we get into more football, you guys, another big sports update. Another one for you, the MLB playoffs. A lot of things are kind of at evening out, I would say.
We're pretty much right at the end.
Score-wise, we're right at the end for the
We're
World
pretty much right
Series
at the end
here. So.
of the championship series. So Sunday night, the Texas Rangers played the Houston Astros in playoff series, and the Rangers, who have lost every game at home versus the Astros in this series, have won every single game at the Astros ballpark. So they won last night 9-2 with captivating home run from Dolis Garcia. That, I mean, it was absolutely gone. I was watching that, and after he hit, I'm like, that ball is gone. And pretty much after that, Houston Astros fans were out of there. I mean, the stadium just looked empty after it. And maybe they're just looking into Game 7, which is being played tonight as of this recording. So it's really heating up there. You know, it's the first Game 7 since, I believe, 2020. So that is very...
I want to hear your prediction. I know this is going to come out, it's going to come out after that game is done, but yet we don't know the result. Who do you think takes it?
The way I look at it, with the guys that are on the mound for each team, Max Scherzer goes up against, I want to say, I don't know if it's Framber Valdez or who it is, I forget now. I want to say not the Astros, the Rangers. They pull away with the series and close it out, make the World Series because they've been so good in the Astros ballpark. And with that momentum that they had from last night's game, I believe that they make it to the World Series off of that. And now on the other side of things, we got the Phillies and the Diamondbacks still in between a game. And actually, as of right now, during this recording, they are playing. And it looks like, as Liam is showing me, the Diamondbacks are currently winning. Now, obviously, when this recording goes up, it'll be long done.
We're at an inopportune time.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Everything's happening. We don't know the scores.
Right now.
Yeah.
So currently the Diamondbacks are looking good, I guess. Now, obviously, if that carries into a Game 7, which the series is currently, Philadelphia is up 3-2. If the Diamondbacks win a game, you know, we go to the Game 7. I want to say the Diamondbacks are going to win if they have the momentum, but I think with the Phillies' star power and more experience, they should win that series and make the World Series.
Definitely. I wouldn't see why not unless the curse holds true and the Diamondbacks pull it away.
And honestly, I'm okay with that. Then it just proves that the Brewers are just a ticket to the World Series, pretty much.
You're welcome.
If you beat us, you're going to the World Series.
You're welcome. And there's another baseball update you got here for us.
This came out, I want to say, last night or a couple nights ago. In Dubai, in the Middle East there is a new baseball league that's being put out, and they must have held a draft, I don't know, the last few nights or something. And, you know, maybe you get some random guys who are maybe cast off from like a minor league team or whatever the case is. But we have former MLB players being drafted to teams. Former players such as Didi Gregorius, former Yankee, kind of underrated player. Pablo Sandoval, World Series champion. Big Panda, I mean, solid player. That's what they called him.
I believe you.
The Big Panda. Robinson Cano, who was, I want to say, an MVP, but kind of was suspended the last few years due to PEDs. And
Good for him.
Good job.
Doing it right.
And then the big ticket, Big Sexy, Bartolo Colon.
Even better name right there.
I can't believe you just said that.
That's his nickname,
has
though.
I can't believe you still said that, though.
Former Cy Young Award winner Bartolo Colon. So that's
Pretty cool.
Already a pretty cool league as it is. And I kind of just looked up the league just to, you know, take a glimpse at it. And it looks like a lot of former MLB players and former coaches are like coaching the 4 teams that they have. And obviously, I'm not sure when it starts. I'm going to actually just look this up right now because it's crazy. Or I guess they're playing in November. They're doing like I want to say like a United East, it's called, and United West. It's called Baseball United. That's the league name. And they're just doing like, I don't know, like an all-star game between the 2 teams. I'm not sure. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that turns out and where it goes. You know, I know it's an all-star game right now, but how far does that go? How long does it stay around? Would be pretty cool.
You know, maybe guys from the MLB jump ship and go to Dubai. Who knows?
Could have a golf situation where they had that league start up in Saudi Arabia, I think it was, or Dubai
it
too.
was
I don't know.
backed by Saudi Arabia or something. So
a little bit of trivia for you guys. What country is Dubai in?
I should know this.
Let me double check my facts. Okay, yeah, no cheating, no cheating.
Abu Dhabi comes to mind, but I think that's a city.
I think you're right as well. Do you cheat?
I did cheat, so I'm not going to say it.
All right.
Isn't it not Iran? Because
no, not Iran. Do you give up?
Man, it just like, it won't come to mind, but all of a sudden you'll say it, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's right.
United Arab Emirates. UAE for you.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
It's okay. You'll get them next time.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys. Thank you for that baseball update. Brody, we'll get to hockey later in the show. Liam, hold your horses. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, child. Know that song?
Yeah.
I don't know who sings that song.
I don't even know what you just said.
Okay, well,
You just said some gibberish, and then you're like, oh, I don't know who sings that.
let's mellow the mood
Swedish House
down.
Mafia, dude.
That's
Come
exactly
on.
what I said.
No clue.
Anyways.
You guys,
Can we just skip over it?
we can't.
Oh,
We
no.
could not skip over this. Your Pointers football team suffered a loss.
Oh, really?
Shocker.
Not
Dude,
just,
really?
not just
really?
any loss. One of the most embarrassing home losses I have ever been a part of. I've been a part of a couple now. You know,
Hey,
not that
buddy.
that says a lot.
This is just an average homecoming for us.
Yeah, what's new?
Yeah, this is what makes it worse. It was the homecoming game, and your UW Stevens Point Pointers lose to UW River Falls 75-14. They put up 50 points in the first half.
Dang, I didn't know they played basketball.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
You know,
It's weird.
when I say that this team was sprinting, it's the fastest I've seen a team move against another team in my life. I was talking a mile a minute on the broadcast because before you know it, after play, they were back at the line of scrimmage. All game.
Hurry up offense like
All
the entire
game.
time?
All game. They put in 3 different quarterbacks, same result. It didn't matter which quarterback was on the field. They were at the same speed, the same success, and the Pointers were utterly destroyed. This past weekend at Gerke Field, they dropped to 1-6 on the season. They ranked bottom of the WIAC. What else is new? 0-4. They give up 75 points, which ties River Falls' highest this season. They put up 75 points this year twice. They would have put up 76 if they didn't miss the final extra point. They would have put up 77 if they also didn't miss, or they blocked an extra point in the first quarter.
Small vindication. Small victories.
Small victories.
Where we can get. They also put up 14 points, though. Yeah.
We wanted 21,
We wanted
and they would have
21.
if Bryson Cashin didn't drop a ball right through his hand.
Which sucks, but, they still put up 14 points. So
They still
I'll
put up
take it.
14 points, 7 in the first half, 7 in the second
Oh,
half.
in the first half, too?
Yeah, in the first quarter, I think.
Wow.
The first quarter was one of the longest first quarters I've ever experienced because the clock was continuously stopping, but because they put up 30 points in the first quarter.
Was it like 31 points, I think?
It was 34.
Oh, okay.
34-1.
Even worse.
Or to 7, excuse me. What went wrong? I think what went wrong is that the Pointers gave up 800 yards.
Yeah.
They gave up over 800 yards.
863 to be exact.
Over 860 yards against.
I mean, to be fair,
If that team didn't fumble a few times, they could have put up 1,000 yards against the Pointers.
We just built them a new practice field and everything.
You
man.
guys, I have never seen like such ignorance on defense.
This is what we've been trying to tell you.
I'm at
Frankie.
that point now. I am boiling over.
Is it beaten down?
Okay,
Is it
let me
beaten down yet?
break down this game for you. They ran 4 wide receivers a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
or 3 wide receivers running back.
Did we cover them at all?
And see, that's the thing. They would probably go out in trips half the time on the right side, left side, whatever, and then throw that screen pass or swing it out to the running back, 3 receivers block, 2 receivers block, whatever it is, on the perimeter. Not one, maybe one drive we adjusted. It didn't work. But the entire time, we're running 2 outside corners, 3 linebackers in the middle. And we're constantly getting beat on the perimeter, and there were no adjustments. And they said, nope, we're just going to keep running 4 defensive backs, 2 high safeties, 2 corners on the perimeter, and 3 linebackers in the middle, and that's going to work.
What? Our play calling is terrible.
We
I don't know
played
what you're
Tampa
talking
2 all
about.
day, and it didn't work.
Bro, this is what me and Brody have been trying to tell you as unfortunately seasoned veterans of this
It's
football team. I know, and you came in with high hopes, and you're like, they're going to be better. They're going to do some things, and we're like, you know what, Frankie?
and we warned you.
warned you.
I don't understand why there's like no effort to try to change it up.
Because they just don't want to.
If you don't have confidence in your depth corners, I get it.
You got to try something.
But you got to try something. Gavino Lopez, star cornerback for this team, has had a great season. didn't play. I think he got hurt in the last couple of weeks while the team was on some away games. Didn't play, and that showed for one thing. But it's just like we said last week, they have to find one thing and stop it, and they couldn't do a thing, and it was so bad they never knew what was coming. Anything worked. And they ran those 3 linebackers middle of the field. They still gave up passes over the middle constantly. We'll beat you on the outside. We'll beat you over the middle. We're going to beat you deep. We're going to throw it short.
Game?
We're going to run. No, nothing.
Nothing?
Let's see. How many rushing yards did they put up? We gave up 364 yards rushing.
That's just like a normal game.
No, 350 total.
350 total. Thank you.
That's just like a normal game.
Their
like
third-string quarterback put up 103 yards on the ground.
That's so bad.
Their first-string quarterback, 60 yards. And the next person highest was their third-string running back.
You know that the school usually puts out like updates of how well we do for football, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like they post stories to Instagram. Nothing. Not a single one.
Oh, really?
Not a one.
Their starting quarterback was out after the first half.
Yep.
And then they alternated their backup quarterbacks every drive.
Gee, I don't know why they would pull him after the first half. It was a close game. He needed to be in for it. So
it's just like the defensive scheme, not there. And then the backbone of this team doesn't exist.
Fire your coordinators, man.
I don't want to be the guy that calls for that. I have no reason to call for that, but being a viewer, being a fan of this campus, of this team, of this school, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
I am utterly frustrated.
Welcome, Frankie Breit, to the sadness of Pointers football.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
What, 6 games? He was super confident about it, 6 games?
41 first downs.
I almost want to call that a new record, but
yeah, no.
How many first downs do we have?
I think
14.
14!
I think that our worst loss was 1483 one year.
Oh my God! When you're losing 79-13 against a D1 school, great.
That's fine.
You're losing 75-14 to a team in your conference, in your division. You're nowhere near the talent of this conference.
You know, if there was a Division 4 in NCAA football, we'd be Division 5. You know that, right?
Exactly.
Division 5 is almost too generous.
We'd be top of that division. I still got that optimism in me. But holy crap! Bryson Cashin had a bad game. Dropped the long touchdown ball, which would have made it 7-6. We would have led. We would have led in this game.
At one point? Really?
At one point.
Wow.
If we caught that touchdown ball and kicked the extra point, it would have been 7-6, and I would have been so happy.
And I think that the cherry on top of all of this, right, is that it was a sellout crowd there for a homecoming.
Exactly.
Everybody there, it was parents, it was families, it was all of the students. I had a lot of friends in that crowd. And I remember them just texting me during the game going, I wish I did not go to this.
It was half empty by halftime. It was the quietest I'd heard Gerke Field as being a commentator there from the booth. And it was utterly terrible. And I think one of the biggest reasons that River Falls had great success on offense was they're able to put their offense with good field position every single time. And the reason why our punter here at Stevens Point doesn't punt it very far, but he's got the technical side down very well. When it hits the ground, it always gets a Stevens Point bounce. It goes in our 20 yards. River Falls runs 2 returners, one halfway from the line of scrimmage, one deep. It always went to the first guy. They're catching it on the first bounce before it ever hit the field, and they fielded it at the 50-yard line every single time. I kid you not. And they were able to march down the field in 30 seconds.
Kind of sounds like a team that knows how to adjust.
Exactly. And their coach there has been there for 13 years, rightfully so.
Yeah.
The way he has his team operating is second to none. I wish I was at that Whitewater River Falls game a week ago because that would have been awesome to watch.
It would have been actually good WIAC football.
Exactly, because that is just 2 guys going at it, 2 teams going at it.
That know how to play football.
Outmaneuvering each other, exactly. It would have been awesome.
Do you think that, honestly, do you guys think that we should have a football program? We're kind of getting into some dark territory here, but do you think we should?
I feel like you have to revamp it. Like, you take it away for a couple years, bring it back, because right now no one's ever going to be excited to come here. The people that do come here don't want to win here. They're not motivated to win
It's
here.
just basically people who are like, yeah, maybe I still kind of want to keep playing football
Exactly.
in college or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
And you see that on the sideline. The players are laughing, joking around, not in a way like, oh, shoot, this is reality right now. They're checked out.
They don't
Visually, they look checked out, like they don't want to be there. And the coaching staff feels the same exact way.
I remember when our head coach got hired sophomore year, he was like, everybody was like, oh, we had a bad year. We went 2-8, maybe this is the guy that we need. And then we went 1-9.
Yeah.
And everybody
Now
was like,
it's looking to be the same thing this year.
the same thing. And just you watch, 2 years down the road, they're going to look back on our one win and go, oh, by the way, you did this incorrectly. Like you cheated for this thing, and we're taking that one away again. So,
Yeah.
that's just how it'll be.
On defense, missing a lot of starters. Tyreek Sims wasn't out there. Gavino Lopez, RJ Minor weren't playing. I think all obviously hurt, but like the team on defense was visibly gassed. They were on the field the majority of the time.
When you're
I don't
playing
know.
the full 60 minutes of
Exactly.
football,
I don't know if they have time of possession on the box score here. I'm sure they do. I don't want to search for it because this is already embarrassing. Stats for us. We put Steven Schreider in, had a great day overall, 11 for 22, 123 yards. And then Jake Lear, starter, 10 of 23 for 99 yards. Couldn't do anything on offense. Bryson Cashin, again, only 10 touches. Or excuse me, he had 12 touches with 2 receptions, then 10 attempts for 20 yards. And, the run game was non-existent. We saw a lot of our backups very early on in the second half, which I also didn't like because this is the opportunity. You're down 75-7. How about we keep the starters out there, because why not? Give them the opportunity to try to find something, try to mesh together against a defense that maybe is now at their caliber because you're playing the third stringers on that team. Why didn't we stay out there?
Because they're still operating off of these are our starters. We can't let them get hurt. But we're not
What's
doing
there to play for?
What's there to play
Exactly.
for?
What's there to lose?
We're not playing for anything. You're not making the NCAA tournament. You're not even making our conference tournament. Like, it's not happening.
And I don't mean like you're not playing for something. You're playing for growth at this
growth.
point. And
Yeah,
that's your reason.
You
to back
guys,
this.
Your
like, how you're
dignity's already
playing right
gone.
now is that not even semi-professional leagues are going to look at you.
No.
Like, I'm sorry. You guys have to come to the realization that if you don't go out there and at least try, and maybe that if you are trying, then that's sad because that means that you guys are just genuinely terrible at football, which sucks. But if you are not going out there and you guys are like, okay, well, we'll take our starters out. No, you got to let them try because they're not going to go anywhere after this. They're not making the NFL. There have been a lot of very successful players from D3 football who have made it in the NFL before.
Whitewater in particular.
Exactly. So it's not impossible, but I guarantee you, you're not going to get looks from anybody.
You're not going to get a tryout.
You're not going to get tryouts. You are just going to be done after you graduate college, if you graduate college, because if you came here, looking to play football and go, okay, maybe I'll get a tryout, et cetera, you won't even graduate college and do nothing. You have to do something, like adjust, make the necessary adjustments, put in the work for it. At this point, I think that you guys' as practice is just you all sit around and you laugh with each other. Like,
It's almost what it is.
Hey,
it's
we're
almost what it
mad.
is.
We are frustrated. We are mad.
And it's because we care.
Yes,
We
it's
care
because we
immensely.
care.
We wouldn't be talking about you. Like I said a couple weeks ago, we would not be talking about you guys if we did not care. It's
Yeah.
frustrating every single week that we have to see a terrible game.
It's not even close.
Why?
And it's not getting easier. Oshkosh, Whitewater lacrosse.
Yeah,
Yep,
That's what we
it's
got
over.
left.
It's over. I'm
It's
sorry.
over.
A bit of optimism though. Miles Gallagher's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
He's a
One-handed
good
touchdown
guy.
catch on the sideline, hauls it in one-handed, breaks the tackle, throws the defender off, runs it in. It was the greatest play of the day. Loved it.
Probably
it was
all
great.
season.
I also want to look at another thing. They only had River Falls only had 2 sacks that game.
Yeah.
2 sacks, and Pointers had 1 sack.
It looked worse than the stat sheet says. There was one play where I don't know what happened. It was 3rd and 11. Jake Lear got sacked, and then they're setting up. The punting unit goes out there, 4th down and forever, and then the refs started talking to each other for 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden, the offense and defense came back out to the field. It was 3rd and 11. They're replaying the down.
And what was the call?
Nobody said anything. And Ashton and I were there on the broadcast, just like, well, okay, 3rd and 11 again. Here we go.
All right, so that's kind of a drop the ball on the refs. That's kind of the refs not.
I have no
doing
idea
their good
what
job.
happened, but
Is there a timeout before that?
no, not really. I mean, they might have I think they called it off for an official timeout, but it was like no timeout from either sideline. So it was very interesting. But Myles Gallagher continues to make plays. He's the one guy on this team. He also attempted a throw. He threw a pass to Matt Getchin and completed it.
A deep ball?
A deep ball. Matt Getchin, 2 receptions, 52 yards.
We actually went for the deep pass?
That's
Oh
whack.
my gosh.
Yeah,
It's unheard of.
It's been nuts. But we move, right?
Don't worry.
We keep going.
I'll give you a little bit of hope. You ready? You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. Hockey is less than a week away, okay?
Yes.
God.
And
It's a good team.
you have been here for I think one hockey game, right?
Yes,
Because
I've been to one hockey game.
I cannot wait for you to witness this, what a regular season is like, because we aren't sad about things that happen.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
we're actually good at it.
And then the format of the show, we'll talk about big things, then we'll go right into Packers, then we'll talk about hockey for like half hour. It'll be great. We're going to preview Point versus Oshkosh coming up next week. Brody, you want to go into that?
So I had to update this because we didn't update it at all.
Appreciate
But
that.
Oshkosh is 4-3 on the season. They're coming off a loss against Lacrosse. Slightly weaker in years past. Usually Oshkosh is top of the board, with Whitewater. But they still average over 37 points a game. They only allow about 155 rushing yards per game and about 189 passing yards per game. So that's compared to other teams in our conference, that's really, really good. So they're also 2-2 in the WIAC, tied for second place with, I want to say,
Lacrosse, right?
Yeah, it's Lacrosse, I think. So
Because it's Whitewater, Lacrosse, and then everybody else.
it was good. It's Whitewater.
Is it Lacrosse? It's always Lacrosse or Whitewater. They like interchange spots.
It's Whitewater, River Falls, and whoever. But either way, still second in the WIAC, still going to be a tough opponent.
Yeah.
And really, how I look at it is that, as a team,
So actually, hold on. So it goes Lacrosse at 4-0 in the WIAC. It goes River Falls at 3-1. They're tied. River Falls is actually tied with Whitewater for second place.
Yep.
So Oshkosh is actually tied for third place, but they're 2-2. That's how competitive a football conference
either way,
is.
Yeah.
it's still not looking good for the Pointers.
It's not looking good.
But-
and then there's Pointers all the way at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and there's also like talk about schools in the UW system closing. Like, how do you think that will affect players' decisions, like wanting to play in the UW system, stay home, and do you think that could help the Pointers in the future if a school were to close?
Maybe you get a few students who want to continue their career, and Stevens Point happens to be closer than any other school that they would go to. They might want to choose to go here and play. Now, I'm not saying you should choose here to go play, but look, it's frustrating. But you see schools like Finlandia, they close. I believe last spring, their baseball team had shell players to other schools around Michigan. So
A couple of the hockey players went to a couple of UW schools.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very unfortunate because they were actually, a good school. Like,
Right.
I mean,
We could
even
see stuff like that here,
even
too.
outside of scholastically, they were a very good school. They
Yeah.
were very effective.
Yeah.
So it was very unfortunate that they had to shut their doors.
Yeah. Just something to talk about, something to think about. I know it's kind of been a rumor around here. But keys to success for the Pointers against Oshkosh. Again, not keys to victory, keys to success. I think Gallagher is the spark of this team. You got to feed the guy. Needs more targets, more than just a deep ball. He had a deep ball touchdown, had another deep ball pass attempt to him the other weekend. But the guy is shifty. The guy gets open. Design some plays for him.
Otherwise, he's going to go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dial up some plays that are meant for him more than just a deep ball. I think he can be more than just a deep threat. And I think he can move the chains more than we have seen him do so. So please, coaching staff, get on that. Anything else from you guys?
just be decisive as a coaching staff. We're talking about giving the ball to Myles Gallagher. That's just one decision out of many decisions that you can make to be a more successful team. Now, I'm not saying you're going to completely blow Oshkosh out of the water, But just little plays that might help you out will ultimately, maybe leading into next season, lead you to making better decisions that will make it a close game.
Yeah, and I totally agree. Like, if you make a decision, back it. I feel like the Pointers at this point, and the Packers too, we'll get into it, are afraid of themselves. Trust yourself, be decisive, go out there, try to do your best as a football team. Liam, you got anything for us?
Yeah, the defense has got to do something that they can be proud of.
Oh, yeah.
Like fire your defensive coordinator. But but more so, it's like we were talking about last week, you got to pick something and stick with it because, it's pretty clear that we're going to not be good at a lot of things. So choose something, work on it, defend it. At this point, I would probably say stop the short pass, like kind of the middle of the field, those middle passes, those screen plays and all of that, because that's kind of what makes up a lot of our opponents' like kind of repertoire.
Yeah.
So if we get that locked down, then we make the big stop on like 4th and inches that people around everywhere are going to say, well, that was one of the best defensive stops we've ever seen from the Pointer squad.
Right.
And then that gets our, it gets our confidence up, it gets our momentum going. It's just, everything that we probably are looking for in a defense.
Yeah.
There's just so much that we have to improve on for the defense, though.
I'm right there with you. Here's to hoping. Good luck, Pointers versus Oshkosh this coming weekend in Oshkosh. Make us proud.
Prouder.
All right.
Prouder.
We're going to move on to another terrible loss. Let's keep ranting. Let's keep complaining. Let's keep being angry. The Packers lost 19-7 to the Denver Broncos. One of the worst teams in the NFL. That's back-to-back losses to bad teams.
I think I jinxed us.
Did you?
Yeah, well, I did say last week that I wouldn't be surprised if we lost to the Broncos. I think that one's on me.
You had to
boys.
say
Shame.
something, Jeff.
I apologize.
Shame on Liam.
I
Shame on
apologize.
Liam. Shame on Liam.
Well, Ashton also said in the group chat, he also said
Don't bring Ashton into
I'm
this.
bringing Ashton into this. He did say, by the way, I really hope that they don't make this comeback so that we can, the league can, we can all like realize that this is not a good team and we can't keep playing from the comeback.
I go back and forth on when to start panicking or whether to not start panicking.
I think it's a little bit of both. I'm like, wow, this was just an absolute collapse.
We'll get
in
into
one
our takes on the team right now, but the fact of the matter is they have back-to-back losses to bad teams. They are 2-4, third place in the division as things stand.
Who's
and
last?
You guys, who's last?
Yeah.
The Bears. The Bears.
Yeah.
I'll still giggle about that until they're better than us.
Yeah. They did win against the Raiders.
Guys, this is the truest stat that I think kind of sets everything home and kind of sinks our hearts a little bit. They had 10+ days in their last 2 games to prepare for the Broncos and for the Raiders. They had 10+ days each time, and they didn't get it done. They didn't even come close to getting it done. They never looked good in those games, and I think the truth is the Packers are bad. The Packers are a bad team this year.
That's just the reality
That's
of it.
the reality.
Unfortunately,
and
yes.
we have to talk about what went wrong. And I think
We suck.
we can thank you. I think we can start talking about Jordan Love. Didn't have his worst game of the year, and I don't think this game, again, falls on him, but he has some blame to take. Jordan Love missed key opportunities on numerous occasions. So one, we're driving. I think this might be the end of the first half, and 3rd and 10, throws one up to Romeo Doubs, overthrows him out the back of the end zone, attempt a field goal, we miss. I think that's all the same drive. Watching the film back, Aaron Jones, they had a screen call on that play. Aaron Jones is wide open. 2 defenders, 3 offensive linemen, wide open for the dump off. Would have had a first down, maybe would have scored. It was there. And instead, Jordan Love threw a 50-50 ball out the back of the end zone to Romeo Doubs. That's a missed opportunity. And the most obvious one is the last one of the game when the 3rd and 20 play call was a Hail Mary ball to Samori Toure. That was the call, and that was the ball he threw. Meanwhile, if you watch it back, A.J. Dillon, who had a good game, running like A.J. Dillon again, is wide open in the flat with 20 yards of space, would have at least gotten 15 yards. Mark my words, would have gotten 15 yards, made it 4th and 5. That's a field goal attempt for the win. Would have been right there. Or if you're not close enough, you don't trust him, you gave yourself another down. You gave yourself another shot to keep the drive alive. If you don't, there you go. You lost.
But
But you gave yourself another chance.
But it's not like you lost in an embarrassing
Exactly,
fashion.
but instead,
50-50.
they did. And I know Kirk
To the Broncos, by the way.
Kirk
To the Broncos.
Benkert, former quarterback of the Packers, former quarterback in the NFL. Listen.
God bless.
He sent out this big post this week about what's going on, his take on everything, and he makes a good point that a veteran receiver probably would have tried to draw a flag in double coverage with that throw. And that just goes to show how inexperienced that receiving core is, how inexperienced this team is. It's a good point, but that also shouldn't be the thing you're relying on, and that's not all of the blame. That is not everything that went wrong in that play. The play calling has been disgusting. It's been off balance. It hasn't been there. Coaching has been disgusting. Blocking is disgusting. Complementary football, balanced football. Synergy on this team doesn't exist. There's no rhythm. There's no connection between any levels of this team. Offensive line to receivers, offensive line to the quarterback, to the running back, on the defense, nothing is meshing together well. And that's where the team is right now.
You know they're going to make another, this short of your rant, right? And they're going to
I'm going to try not to talk for 12 minutes about this.
I was going to say, we're back on another Frankie.
Yeah, we're back on another
Packers.
Frankie.
I could. And I know that every Packers outlet is going to be talking like this week. And before we get into our takes and the truth of this team, I want to highlight some optimism because I still want to be able to support this team. I want the fan base to support this team. This is a growing year that I think we're going to have to look in the mirror and realize that things are wrong, and that's part of transition into a good year.
It's a rebuild.
So, it could potentially be that.
I think it's a rebuild. We're going to go with rebuild this year.
But as we were saying, A.J. Dillon had a good game.
Yeah.
He's looking like himself again. He's not going to put up 150 yards as a running back, but the way he's running with his pads. He's lowering the shoulder. He's moving his feet, getting his feet off the ground. Whereas earlier in the season,
confidence again.
Yeah, earlier in the season, he seemed like not get his knees up high enough. He's kind of tripping over himself. 15 attempts, 61 yards. He's a bruiser back, and he was running like a bruiser running back this past weekend. That's something that we can be happy about and say, okay, that man is growing. Thank you, A.J. Dillon. I have nothing bad to say about you today.
Quadzilla's back. That's all I got to say.
And another thing I wanted to highlight is that Romeo Doubs touchdown. Pulled it away from Pat Surtain, which a lot of people will argue he had an interception. But, hey, everybody. Don't you remember 2013 when the Packers lost on a Hail Mary that was an interception, but they called a touchdown with backup referees?
M.D. Jones.
On the broadcast, they literally said a tie, as we've seen, a tie goes to the receiver.
Yeah,
so it's got to be a touchdown.
So Broncos fans, you won. You have nothing to complain about. But on that touchdown, now you feel our pain. Now the NFL can see, oh, that's what that feels like.
And it also wasn't for all of the marbles like that other one.
Right. And he wrestled it away regardless. The one against the Seahawks was so obviously in the Packers receiver or the quarterback's hands.
Yeah.
It was in M.D. Jennings' hands. You can see it in his hands.
Yeah, was that Golden Tate in that catch? And he didn't get his hands on the ball until he was on the ground.
He was literally hugging the dude.
Yeah, so that was pain. But that play gave me joy, and I really like that one. And then the miracle play, Romeo Doubs tips it in the end zone, can't make the catch. You have to make that catch.
Yes.
Got really lucky. Jaden Reed was behind him, caught the ball. I was jumping up and down. That was really cool, but really stupid at the same time. So some cool things there. I usually kind of go into a very downer mood when they lose, and I think the other week against the Raiders, I was kind of out of it for a half hour to an hour.
Well, I fully believe that during your rant, your soul left your body. And and you could see your eyes become vacant and distant as you started ranting about it.
The last time, it was like half hour to an hour where I was just angry. This time, it was like 2 to 3 hours that it set with me before I let go, was able to move on with my night. If they keep losing, it's probably going to get longer every night. I'm going to start carrying it over into the next week. So hopefully Packers don't get to that point.
I was very fortunate that during the game I had a meeting, like a very important meeting I had to attend.
Oh, really?
Yes. So unfortunately, that also made it a lot worse when I was looking down at my phone going, wow, we're losing to the Broncos. Oh, yay, we're winning again. Oh, now we're losing to the Broncos. Oh.
Yeah.
And then 17-19, I'm like, okay, well, that's cool.
All right, that stinks. You guys, the Packers right now are a bad team.
I've got something to add.
Please.
Okay, so like we said kind of at the beginning of the segment, I think it's kind of we're in a rebuild year. It's very unfortunate, but it's also not the end of the world. We are a very young team, and I originally we were saying that we're a young team. We got time to kind of turn around. We're still probably going to be good, and now I think unfortunately, we're a young team, and that probably means that we're not going to do that great this year. But it also means that this year is for us for growing pains and for us to figure it out. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's Jordan Love. He's going to be his own quarterback. He has to figure out what type of quarterback that's going to be. And
that's a good point.
I mean, if anything, it's probably going to be a pretty darn good one. He just needs to figure out everything. He needs to learn how to be a starter. He needs to learn how to put the organization on his back.
Yeah.
And that goes for everybody on that squad as well. Everybody's got to learn how to play their role very well and mesh with each other on an NFL team. And we're almost there. It's just, unfortunately, this year we should not expect them to all of a sudden go on a 10-game win streak and then we make the playoffs. It's probably not going to happen. So we just got to be able to support them. We can obviously, when we should, say, hey, dumb idea.
Yeah.
This is what you guys need to improve on. But either way, we got to support the squad. So
Yeah, and I was just going to ask you guys for your take. So thank you for your take on the team, Brody. Let's hear yours.
I guess my take. So, like Liam said, the team is young. It is young. You got a young quarterback who's kind of getting his first. He's kind of getting his feet wet now. He's finally the starter. He's getting his opportunity. The running back core is not young. Obviously, you got 2 stud running backs. The offensive line, very young. I mean, just drafted probably like half that offensive line in the last few years now. They're kind of getting their feet wet now, being with a young quarterback. The receiving core, young. The defense, you have your young guys, but you still got some veteran presence there. They're a young team. You're not going to expect to just blow every team out of the water with a young team. They're figuring out what it's like to be in the NFL. They're figuring out what it's like to be, playing against high-level talent. It's not going to be easy, and we just kind of got to accept that. I mean, it's heartbreaking going from year to year with a really solid team. You can always trust them to make the playoffs. You can trust them to play good, but we just got to accept that this team, it's going to be painful to watch them the next few years if they're not developing, but if they develop well, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And no. Like I said, I'm kind of there too on the teetering on the time to panic time. We're okay yet, but there's some fans calling to move on from Jordan Love. It's like, you guys, shut up.
Like, already?
Be patient. We're not drafting a quarterback in the first round this upcoming draft. You got to give this team a couple years. They might be bad the next couple years. They might be growing the next couple years. Who knows how long this turnaround is going to take?
Aaron Rodgers didn't start for 3 years.
No, and Aaron Rodgers didn't lead the team to the playoffs in his first year. So it's going to take some time. History shows us that. And but I also don't know that if it's likely we're going to win 3 more games this year or we're going to turn it around. It's just we're at that point right now that things can go either way, and things right now are tracking to getting worse before they get better.
They got to get worse before they get better.
Exactly. And with that, we're going to look ahead to the Packers versus the Vikings. Coming off our terrible loss, we are 2-4. Back at home, though, 12 p.m. kickoff in Green Bay. I'm going to make an educated guess here that tonight the Vikings will lose on Monday Night Football to the 49ers and drop to 2-5. So this is 2 teams.
This is your prediction.
That's my prediction. I mean, I could look like an idiot on Wednesday. But both teams have 2 wins in the division. This will probably be for second place in the division this game.
Wow,
so,
isn't that just terrible?
That's crazy. That the
2-5 we're fighting for second place.
Yes.
Wow.
But on the topic of the Vikings, Kirk Cousins having a great year, has looked sharp. I feel like he's gotten sharper every year with the Vikings. I think 2021 was maybe a rough year, but 2022 he had a great year. 2023 now. Throwing the ball well. Obviously, no Justin Jefferson for another week or 2, coming off an injury. He's on IR right now. You could say they have a poor defense. They're a subpar team, but they're playing the Packers, so that will be a problem for Packers fans. I don't know what to expect. I feel like we've come onto this broadcast for weeks now and said, oh, this is a team that we can beat. We should win this game, and then sure enough, we don't. So I don't want to make any predictions. I don't want to say they're a bad team because we just played against the 32nd overall defense and got toasted. So we'll see what happens. The Packers' keys to victory, though, gentlemen, I touched on this a moment ago. I think Love needs to make better decisions. and the quarterback position. If he is he is a decisive quarterback, but often has been incorrect on his reads. He's often taking his first reads in the last couple weeks, whereas in weeks 1 and 2, he was making the right reads. He was going through his progressions. He had time in the pocket, and I think that was the biggest thing. Now he's very in his head. He's worried about the time in the pocket because the limited time he has gotten from his offensive line and hasn't been able to make good reads. It comes down to this team shouldn't be as bad as it is, and you're questioning why can't they grow? Because we said they're young, but I feel like at this point in the season it's unacceptable. So to turn things around, I think Jordan Love has to make better decisions from the quarterback position. I'll hand it off to you guys. What do you got?
You just need to sustain offensive drives. You know, you might drive all the way down the field, but then absolutely do nothing, you know, in the red zone. And maybe you kick a field goal, and that's just a maybe if Anders Carlson misses it. So
The first one of his career this past weekend. So
poor. But you just got to sustain those offensive drives. You can't just go 3 and out every single drive and expect to win a game, because you're not going to win a game if you go 3 and out every single drive. And it kind of comes down to play calling. You got to make the right calls with the offense that you have, even with the defense that you have. You just gotta play really solid football, and that's just not what they have been doing. But against a weak defense like the Vikings, I mean, it's almost an opportunity.
yeah, just keep the offense on the field. Let the defensive guys actually get a rest. I feel like they've the time of possession is always against the Packers, and the defense are constantly getting worn out. So
A lot of parallels between the Packers and the
I know, right?
It's crazy.
Liam, you got anything for us?
Please get healthy.
Oh, my God. So many injuries again.
Everybody's hurt. I mean, Jair Alexander's still hurt. Devontae Campbell's still hurt. Everybody's just not feeling the great. And it's like, at this point, what's happening? What's going on right
What's
now?
with the training staff?
What's
yeah,
with the training
we lose
staff?
Devontae White. We lose Darnell Savage again. Eric
at the same
Stokes
time,
just came
like,
back. He's hurt.
Why is it this year? Why wasn't it last year?
Right,
We were not
right.
this injured. I mean, this is the first time we've been like really, really
In a
injured.
long time,
And
yeah.
Bakhtiari's just done. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
mean,
he's
we
ever
had
coming back.
10 guys on the injury list coming off a bye. It's insane.
That's nuts, and it's not good, which makes me think that there's something else happening in that locker room. But,
right.
you know.
Maybe a philosophy change has to happen on the training staff or in that side of things. Who knows? I have no right to speak to that. But from our view, everyone's hurt. It could be just a coincidence thing, but who knows? Let's put a cap on that. I don't want to predict anything for the Packer game. We're just going to see what happens the rest of this year.
They are going to play a football game that week.
They certainly are playing a football game.
They're gonna play a
I just
football
hope
game.
that I can go into next week and be happy. That's all I want to ask for.
That's all you ask for.
That's all I ask for,
If Frankie's just, he's got his face down on the desk by the time the next episode airs, then you know what happened.
You know what happened.
Yeah.
Liam, it's time for hockey. You have 5 minutes.
I have 5 whole minutes.
Get on it, boy.
I can probably get on it. Okay, so Badger hockey sweeps number 17 Michigan Tech, who is no longer ranked because of that sweeping, and we are finally ranked. We're ranked.
Let's go.
It happened. We're number 14, and we're right up there with everybody else. I'm so happy about that. Notre Dame is now the only Big Ten team that's not ranked, and
That's hilarious.
I can say suck it. We're Big Ten also is doing very, very well. Minnesota's still holding the number 1. They split their very highly anticipated rivalry series with North Dakota. So,
Really?
Yes.
Crazy.
They
All
hate
right.
each other. It's like one of the biggest hockey rivalries of all time. Stout, we're going down to Division III. Stout lost both of their exhibition games.
I experienced a loss.
All right.
Yes.
Take that, Reese.
Let's just say St. Mary's goalie is prime Dominic Hasek.
Reese Kupsky, talking right to you right now. It says
L.
parentheses L Reese.
L. Reese.
Yes.
And
See
parentheses
that?
in the script.
It says right there, L.
Yes,
Reese.
he experienced that. Poor guy.
Guess who the second game? They lost to St. John Johnnies.
Johnny!
They lost
They,
to the
Sure
they
enough.
blew a lead to the
I
Johnnies.
watched the Johnny's game, their football game on TV that week too. So Johnny's, you're now a part of me. Thank you very much.
Well, we have also no room to speak because apparently Pointers had an exhibition game. No idea that it was happening. None of my co-hosts here knew it was happening.
No.
I flew totally under my radar. I didn't know about it until Pointer Hockey Page was like, hey, by the way, exhibition game. I'm like, well, what the heck? We did lose that game 4-5 in overtime. So.
If anyone was to know, it would have been you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I'm sorry, I dropped the ball, I guess. I had absolutely no idea. We lost to Marian University, who is also ranked, so it's not like... Oh, yeah, speaking of that, we finally got rankings for D3. We Pointers are ranked number 4.
In the nation.
In the nation.
That's really cool.
Last year's champion Hobart, last year's unfortunate loss to Adrian,
runner-up,
and Endicott, who was also in the semifinals.
Yes, so
That's
everybody...
cool, though.
And then,
Fourth in the nation. That's awesome.
also in the top 20 is UW Eau Claire, so that's 2 WIAC teams.
And River Falls got votes.
Yeah.
River Falls,
Somehow.
River Falls did get votes?
Somehow.
Well, they're not bad. They did kind of almost get there.
Tell you one thing, I got a good football team.
They did.
Yep, they sure do. But the Pointers' opponent coming up, they also got votes. St. Norbert got like 20 votes. So,
Yeah, but you know, St. Norbert can... Because they suck
them
They
over.
suck at hockey, but they're really good at hockey. But they suck at hockey, and we're gonna win.
Yes, sir.
yes, we are.
It's gonna
Yes,
be
sir.
8-0. I'm calling it right now.
I like it, Liam. What do we
All
got
right.
going on in the NHL?
Well, the NHL, your Golden Knights are undefeated.
Your Golden
Yes,
Knights.
your Golden Knight. Who was your friend? Who was the Kraken's fan? What was his name?
Chris Myers.
Hey, Chris, your Golden Knights.
No, he hates you.
Your Golden Knights.
He told me to my face he hates you.
Okay, well, I hate you too, Chris.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry, things I don't want to finish.
All right.
You can come here
Break it
on
up,
the
break it up,
show.
break it up.
I will debate you until time and back, especially because the Kraken only have one win.
We should
They
have
finally
win.
got a
We should
win.
have Ashton and Chris on one side, you on the other, and you guys can just go at it.
I would love that. That'd
Kraken
be
v.
amazing.
Knights.
The Avalanche are also undefeated, and so are the Bruins. They are starting off hot again. But by the way, the Knights are going to repeat, so I'm just going to put that out there right now. Flyers actually doing something for the first time in 10 years. They're actually having a good season, which is unheard of for them. They're 3-1-1, actually doing very well. Good for you guys. It's been a while. It's been
Still early in the season,
still early in the season, but you know what? I'm still going to say it. Good for you guys. Way to do it. Usually by now they'd be 0-7 somehow.
Yes.
Blackhawks, despite having the number 1 overall draft pick, slow start. They're 2-1.
L. Major
see it.
L.
Imagine wasting your first overall draft pick. Could not be me. Could not be me. You pick it up. I mean, everybody wants to see Connor Bedard be the next Wayne Gretzky, and you got to do that by being a good organization, which you haven't been in 10 years.
yes.
And the Maple Leafs, holding steady as a average hockey team in the NHL. At
Wins are
3-2.
wins, baby.
Wins are
Brody
wins.
feeling good about that one, right?
Yeah, 3-2 is not bad.
All right.
Not bad.
Like I said, early in the
where we
season.
sit. Yeah.
Early in the
We'll
season.
take
Early
it.
season. That's the only 3 wins they'll get. They'll go 73 now. They'll go 73-3.
Sure.
And that's all I have for the NHL and for hockey as a whole.
Liam, that was probably the best 5-minute breakdown of hockey I've ever heard.
I'm glad.
Round of applause for Liam over there. Taking his moment and performing well.
Somehow.
You guys.
So what do you mean somehow?
Oh, hey, now. This might be a record-setting episode of SportsPoint. This is the longest one yet.
Really?
Only getting longer. More
Yep.
to talk about.
Yep.
Which is why we talked about making this show live on YouTube so we could go for like an hour, hour and a half. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Keaton.
But you guys, let's put a cap on today. I think we had another good episode. We have a lot going on. We're looking forward to all the campus sports games going on throughout the week. Good luck to the Pointers. Good luck to the Packers. Good luck to the Maple Leafs, the Golden Knights. We'll see what happens with the World Series.
You know,
coming
you're
up here
going to have
soon.
to pick a favorite hockey team. for
Oh,
the
that's
NHL,
true.
right?
I
You're
do
gonna
have to pick one coming up here soon. I will. I'll
Okay.
get on that for
figure
you.
it out.
I'll get on that for you. We're looking forward to the hockey opener this coming Tuesday, October 31st. Liam will be there, SportsPoint Hockey Stream on 90 FM. I don't think this one will be streamed through Pointer Studios this week, but going forward, we should have that going. Thank you to our crew this week. Keaton Waala in his lonesome in the tech booth. He's giving me a wave. There it is.
Keaton, woo.
Making sure everything looks good here on set and for you guys. So thank you as well, Brody Kupsky, Liam Statz. You guys are the best co-hosts in the business. My name is Frankie Breit.
try.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you here soon. From all of us here at SportsPoint, have a great week.